Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Night Nigel. I'm Nigel Bach, and you're a Benite. Nice to have you all here. Anyway, listen, guys, this isn't like the final Star Wars or the series finale of Game of Thrones. What I'm saying is that after Bad Ben 14 is not the end of the series. Bad Ben 15 will be the final film in the Bad Ben series. Now, that's not the end of me and what I'll be doing. I'll still be doing stuff and I'll still be adding content to Bad Ben TV, but it's just the Bad Ben will have come full circle. And what I'm doing is the 15th film is going to be very much like the first film, Bad Ben was. It's going to be dark. It's going to be just me. There's going to be some other characters in the very beginning, but then it's just going to be just Tom Riley in the house. And what happens is, you know how I've been doing these nightly ghost spirit talker things and these, ghost meter, and I've been mocking fun of the paranormal through 15 films. Well, what this one is going to be about is this guy, Nigel Bach, who's been doing these, has now, because of doing these spirit talkers at night and all that stuff, and like I said, mocking the paranormal, what happens is I actually taunt the spirit world and the demon world and all that so much that I actually do come under attack by malevolent forces. And so it's going to be a lot like Bad Ben was. It's going to be a lot more serious. Now, what I want to do with that film is I want to take and I am going to work to raise some money to do this, but I'm not talking about raising $3 or $4 or $5 or even $10,000. I want to take and raise enough money that I can not only do this, but I can do it of a quality that it could be released on a huge scale. And to anybody that's coming into the Bad Ben world for the first time, when they see this film advertised, they're going, look at this. This is a horrible angle. I look huge. But anyway, anyone that comes into the film for the first time is going to find out that, oh, this guy made these 14 other films. And the first one was dark, and then he got and the second one was dark, but like from the third one on, they got kind of funny. He embraced the comedy that the fans liked, but he still kept taunting the spirit world and kept taunting malevolent forces, even reading actual incantations that I researched. And he brought evil into his life. And that is what Tom Riley, well, it's actually going to be Nigel Bach in the final film, because he is he's me. And what he's saying is that from doing these movies and all this, he's actually brought it in to him, and then he's got to deal with it. So that's going to be it. And the reason, I mean, look, it's been a great time. And I've always said, as long as you keep watching, I'll keep making. And I think if I made Bad Ben 50, you'd watch. But it's gotten tougher and tougher to do these from a stand. The ideas just come. And I mean, this isn't me on an ego trip, but they come sort of naturally to me because we do so much improv. And the people I've met while doing this, the people I've had co-star with me have just been like become Scott. I love that kid. And I know great things are in the future for him. But what'll happen is, like I said, 15, Bad Ben 15 is going to be the final in the Bad Ben series. It's not going to be the end of Nigel Bach. I will still keep making or acquiring content for Bad Ben TV, but it's just in this Bad Ben series. 15 is going to wrap it up, and it's going to be dark and it's going to be scary. That's the goal anyway. And it's hopefully I can get a large release for it, because over the years, as I've told you, my life's been an open book with you. I told you how when it first started, nobody was more surprised by the success of this and the popularity of this than I was. And Bad Ben was just extremely popular, close to 200 million minutes streamed. And the way in which it would generate revenue was Amazon. Amazon in 2016 had started a program for independent film producers that they could upload, and they would pay people based on minutes streamed. So I was paid based on 15 cents an hour streamed. So I was making 22 cents every time Bad Ben was streamed. And I thought, well, that's not going to add up to much. Well, it did. And if you remember when I would go, you notice there's no donate up on the screen tonight. Because quite frankly, it's humiliating and a little bit embarrassing to constantly ask the fans for support. Because look, everybody's having a hard time, including myself. And so it's so tough to, every time I come on here, I'm begging for money, asking for donations and stuff like that. And that just gets old after a while. And these things need to support themselves at this point after 14 films. And they do okay. But when Amazon pulled the rug out from under independent producers, it was, and I'm not alone in this. And there are other people that were affected a lot more than I was. People that, because I did the whole Amazon thing myself. There are other companies, distributors that took people's films and put dozens or hundreds of films on the Amazon platform. And Amazon, I don't think Amazon ever anticipated it would be as popular as it was. So they became difficult to deal with. And quite frankly, I think we added popularity to their platform and they slapped us in the face. But the reality of it is I'm guessing here, they can't afford it anymore because look, they even started, you have to pay an extra $3 a month now to watch films or series on Prime without commercials. So they they pulled the rug out from me and hundreds or thousands of producers. So what I want to do is, I still have, back over a year and a half ago, I bought the rights back to the films from a distributor, and I still owe those people that gave me the funds to buy those rights back. I still owe them, albeit a few dollars. I've paid a few of them, but it's just, I'm not getting any younger, and it just seems to be a vicious cycle. And that's just the Bad Ben films. It's been the most fun I've ever had doing anything in my life was making these, and the laughs and the people I've met, and going to the FrankenCon in Tennessee and meeting people, having people drive 12 hours just to meet me. I mean, how humbling is that? And you guys have donated, you've contributed, and it's just, I think the Bad Ben series itself needs to wrap up. And like I said, that does not mean Nigel Bach's gone. That does not even mean Tom Riley's gone. So there can be more. And there will be some, I'll always be doing content. Tomorrow night, I'll get back to the Spirit Talker at night and stuff like that. And my goal, if I do this right, 15. Look, I'll admit, looking into the future, my number one goal is that I want to see the Genesis experiment get made. That is something I do not possess the resources to do. But that is an incredible story that I think people will talk about. I think you guys who have heard me talk about the Genesis experiment will say, when that film finally gets released, they'll say, I remember this guy talking about this years ago on this little broadcast he had. He made these little, found footage horror films. I remember him talking about this, and here it is. So basically, what I'd like to do is I'm going to work on raising the capital from a few investors that can make 15 a film worthy of a release that, if I'm good enough at it, could be a release on the scale of like Paranormal Activity or the Blair Witch Project was. So this isn't going to be yucking. This isn't going to be joke telling and stuff like that, and alien births and looking at the big schlong of Frankenstein. It's not going to be that type of film. It is going to be a dark. I am being tormented from the first moment of this film throughout the film. I'm having to deal with evil forces that I've brought in. And if that were successful enough, if 15 were successful enough, it could catapult me resource-wise to be able to do the Genesis experiment. And I guarantee you, if you remember this night, Sunday, August the 11th, 2024, when I talked about what the last film in the Bad Ben series is going to be, you're going to say, hopefully 2 years from now, you say, I remember him saying he was going to do this. And the Genesis experiment is being released. Because the team that's working with me to do that film, the person, I call him, he's got the most knowledge of the streaming world of anybody I know. And the director, screenwriter of this is very knowledgeable also. That team is going to put together something that's going to it's going to be something that I've dreamed about since 2005 when I wrote the book until the day it's released. And I'll sit there and I'll say, and hopefully, let me tell you something. Hopefully that film you'll see Scott in, because I wouldn't have used him 3 months ago, but now that he's gone to the Stella Adler School, I'll use him. I'm just kidding. Scott's been a natural talent that I was so blessed to meet, and there will be a place for him in this. And so there's a lot to go. There's still ways to go. Now, I'm working on getting Frankenstein done in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I will have some stuff for Halloween. And then 2025 is the year I plan on producing Bad Ben 15. And if you want to know, some of you have told this before, but if you want to know what the name of the film is going to be, it's right behind my head. Not Your Home. Taken right from Bad Ben, where Written in the Ashes was Not Your Home. So that would be Bad Ben, Not Your Home. It's probably going to be titled Not Your Home, period. And the story's going to be in it about all the Bad Ben and everything. So it's going to tie it all together. But that's been up there, by the way. And I've even spoken about this before with some of you guys in some of the live broadcasts. But I think that is a very, very cool name for the film. So there will be opportunities for people to invest in this project. And unlike Bad Ben 1 through 14, where I couldn't really do the accounting to figure out how to pay this, back any contributors or donations, 15 will be an opportunity where people are going to be able to invest and get a return on the investment based on how it does. Because even though Bad Ben, the thing that got me do Bad Ben in the first place was because I did not own the equipment to make a major motion picture that looked like a major motion picture. But the idea behind found footage is that it's supposed to look like it was shot on regular cameras. Well, to do this right, capture the audio right, do what I need to do for this, including the marketing and the budget to pitch this, I need to take and reach a certain level backing wise to do this, that I can only split with the people. Now, when I say the people, that could be one person, it could be 100 people, but whatever. There are more in the coming days on that, or anybody that has an interest in it can email me and we'll talk about it. But you guys have been a tremendous amount of support. I've had an absolute blast doing these films. I've gotten to meet the most awesome people, from the cast of Stillmanville Road to Jeddah to Lionel, who's been a friend of mine for years, was the Dracula on the Haunted Highway, and Gary was the character that Dracula attacked. And then you guys, the fans that contributed during a pandemic. I made a film, and I never had to come in contact with anybody. And the fans, the people they were at home with, they were in front of. And so they were quarantined anyway with those people. And we made a film. And then Steve Reynolds and Benign and Mitch and Courtney and just Pat. Got to meet Pat Riddle. We do have a Blu-ray set, Chanel, unless you're Channel 87. We do have a Blu-ray set, which when 14's done, there are some people that I took pre-orders from already. They will get 1 through 12 in a box set, and then 13 and 14 is 2 separate Blu-rays. They'll be back up when this is done. And also, just so you know, with the 15, I want to be able to make 2 8 Blu-ray sets with 1 through 8 and 9 through 15. But 16 is going to be behind the scenes look from all 15 films. So they'll be up there again. Let me finish. How do you say that, Vil? They'll be up there probably in 2 weeks when the film's released, or 2 to 3 weeks when Frankenstein is finished. So understand, if things go, this is my plan. If I can get 15 done and it's the quality it needs to be to get released. I'll give you, for instance, Netflix could, if this film were pitched to Netflix, Netflix could pick this up. Just one streaming, Netflix or even Amazon could pick this up and write a check, which would cover not only the film, but the cost for me to then turn around and have the Genesis experiment, which for those of you that haven't heard the story, the Genesis experiment made. And for those of you that haven't heard about that story, you can go to thegenesisexperiment.com and you can read about it. And if you're not intrigued by that story, how dare you? No, seriously, it's just a great, great story. That the idea for that came to me after seeing back in 1990s Jurassic Park. I got an idea from that. So, Scott, here's the thing. If Amazon were to, let's put it this way, Netflix would get it for cheaper than Amazon would. Paramount would get it for cheaper than Amazon would. Peacock would get it for cheaper than Amazon would. Because here's a dream world I live in. If I were sitting across the table from executives from Amazon who wanted to buy Not Your Home, I would take that opportunity to tell them, do you know how bad you fucked me over and producers? If you had given an explanation, but you didn't, you just fucked us all. So I want to take this opportunity to fuck you back a little bit. And, but that's just childish for me to even say, but hopefully Not Your Home will be done. And the reason why I say I want to release this in October of 2025, whether it's whatever method it's released through. And I would like to get it on one of the big streaming channels, be it Netflix, be it Amazon. But the reason why I'm talking that amount of time is because I want to do this right. I want to make every second of this film captivate you because you deserve it. You deserve it. And I want to make it captivate you and the audience that watch. I want audiences screaming in their seats in movie theaters or people at their home if a streaming service bought it outright. And hopefully they say to me, all right, we'll buy it. And I'll say, listen, here's the thing. I got offers from 5 big streaming networks, and they're all about the same. But the one I'm going to sell it to is the one that will finance my next film. And that is the Genesis experiment. And that's why when I did the sales pitch for that heavy a couple months ago, and that thing we need to raise $1.2 million to do, and I think we raised under $2,000. My Kickstarter did better than that. But the one thing about that is that comes with, the investors get 50% of every penny that film makes above, the 1.2 million. So if that film, those people that are already in there, if that film met its goal, if that WeFunder campaign met its goal, those people would be locked in. So if I got a check for, $10 million, or that's not going to happen, but say it was, well, yeah, it could for the Genesis experiment. 5 million is going to be split amongst the people that invested. But don't take any action based on that right now, because I'm talking out loud and thinking fast, and I'm probably screwing something up. But there will be opportunities announced in the next week for people that want to seriously invest in Not Your Home and the final in the Bad Ben film series. And what I'm saying to you is, let's make some money together. And I would love that to happen. And I would love to share that with all of you. And I would love to have you say, at the end of 15, I would love to have you say, wow, what a run. What a way to finish. That's what I'd love. So I need to raise that amount of money because I want to blow up this house in the final scene of it. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, that's the goal. The goal is to do 15, really have a platform that's large enough, buy it, and then do the Genesis experiment. And then you know what? If the Genesis experiment gets done, after that, I can do whatever I want. And I'm never going to ask anybody for a penny again because I'll have it. And we'll just make money off whatever we do. But rest assured, even when 15, the final film, and the goal is for October of 2025 for that to be released. When that happens, and in between now and then, there's going to be plenty of Nigel Bach. I'll be doing those nightly things I do. I'll be doing the live broadcasts I talk about. I'll be adding content or acquiring content for Bad Ben TV. And Chanel, I don't know. They're available on YouTube. At least the first 3 are. I don't know if they're in Australia. And I think Bad Ben TV is in Australia. I'm not sure. I'd have to ask my streaming dude. So anyway, folks, keep following me on Twitter and everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, whatever, Instagram. More information will come out this week if you want to be a part of Not Your Home. And 13 or 14, you still have part 3 left for that, and then 15. And let me tell you something, 15 is going to knock your socks off. That's the goal. That's what I want to do. I want to get back to the suspense and the intrigue of Bad Ben 1, and it will be the perfect other end of the series. So that's it. That's all I have for you tonight. I appreciate all the kind words. I haven't seen them all. I've seen some pop up, but you're not done with me yet. You're just Bad Ben's going to fly off into the night here, so to speak. So that's it for now. I will see you this week. I'll be doing lives just about every night, like I always do, except for the weekend. This weekend, I was lax. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. See you. I really do love you. Bye for now.